A lot of rappers still, it seems like, want to be Tupac. They want to have his popularity. They want people to love them like everyone loves him. But why do you think no one's succeeding?
Well, because this is what they fail to realize about Tupac. In order for them to be Tupac, they would have to die before they peaked. Right before they peaked, they would have to die. So if you don't die, you can't do it. Bottom line, if you don't go die, you're not gonna be the next Tupac, because it ain't gonna be a next Tupac. Straight up.
Don't talk, just listen.
How involved was Puffy in the early process on that first album?
He was a big visionary. You know, Puffy's got a big vision. You know, that's why he's so successful today. And people like, you know, Puffy's not talented, but he really is. You know, that's a talent in itself. And as far as the way we saw it, he saw what we saw. But it's hard for us to convey that to Andre Harrell in Uptown, because R&B was the suits, the sequence suits, and the routines and the choreography, and that wasn't us. And we had our own way. We wanted to be street. We wanted to be, you know, like the homeboys on the corner, so to make people want to listen to us, like not be just cool and just stiff. Mm-hmm. And he translated that to Andre and to Uptown. Like, you know, I see where they're going, and we kind of put on his shoulders and risked everything from him being an intern to actually working into Uptown, because he believed in what we believed in.
Okay, so when you guys first came out, I thought the first single was Forever My Lady, because that's when I was first introduced to Jodeci. But I guess there was something else first?
Well, we did, actually, yeah. We did Gotta Love, which the record company hated it. But, you know, it was cool because it wasn't a ballad, and we wasn't known for up-tempos. And we wanted to set the tone for what Jodeci was. And we wasn't really looking at ourselves like a ballad group. Like you said, we were more like a rock, hip-hop, just grungy, everything, anything goes type of group that did beautiful music. And so Andre had told Puffy, if this don't work, you're going to lose your job. And his job was right on if Gotta Love, the single, hit or not.
And it didn't hit.
No, it didn't hit. It missed big time. But what was important about that single, that it set the tone, what Jodeci was coming with, whether it be a slow song or not. Then Forever My Lady came shortly after, and you know, we all know the success behind Forever My Lady and so forth and so on.
At what point did Suge Knight start coming around?
We met Suge, I want to say, around the Billboard Awards. I want to say that. Around the Billboard Awards in it had to be about 94, 95.
So Suge came around, and then when did you start getting really affiliated with Suge and Death Row?
Suge came around, and he taught us about the business a lot.
Okay. And
although we had sold a gang of albums, there was no signs that we were more successful than we sold 100. You know,
so you guys were all broke.
Basically, I mean, you know, we went through the thing that artists go through. You're just unaware of what's going on. We're just happy to be in public and selling millions of records and just having fun.
Well, and I assume that when you guys stepped into that office for the first time and signed a record deal that same day, essentially, it was not the best record deal.
No, it's terrible. Probably one of the worst. I mean, but you know, if there's no manual to set you up for anything. Yeah. You're just happy to be there, and you just happy to. Okay, well, I don't know what's going to happen. You never could imagine the kind of success that we had coming. We were just guys doing what we love to do.
And you guys were just teenagers.
Yeah, we were teenagers. And we were teenagers.
So then what does Suge do?
Suge came in at a time, and he explained to us what the business was about. You know, he never asked us for anything. You know, he just like, you know, I like you guys, and, you know, they were fans of Jodeci, and we're fans of Snoop and Dre, and he made the connection between us and Death Row, and, you know, he started educating us on the business. You know, because we would go around Snoop and them, they got 10, 12 cars and jewelry, and we just like, oh, you know, at the time we were just neck and neck in record sales, and we looking at them, how they living and how we living, and it wasn't adding up. Yeah. So we started asking questions, you know, and nobody was giving us straight answers, and it was just, okay, well, listen, let me help you guys. Okay. And that's just how the whole Death Row, Suge Knight, Jodeci relationship started. Right.
And Suge has a reputation of, quote unquote, helping people out of their bad record deal situations. In fact, that's how he started, with the Vanilla Ice situation, and then with the Dr. Dre and Easy situation. Right. So now you have Suge helping you out of your record situation. Right. Do you think he strong-armed his way into a better deal for you guys?
All depends on what you call strong arm. I mean, it's like if somebody takes something from your little brother, you want to get it back. He wanted to get it back, and they wouldn't give it back. What would you do? I mean, how would you get it back?
Well,
you wouldn't write him a love letter. I mean, it's like
right. Well, you either do it legally or you do it with force.
Right. I mean, I just think that he was wise enough to know how far to go, and he was educated enough to know how to sit down and talk. You know, I've witnessed both sides of him being angry and him being, a politician. So, I've never witnessed him resort to violence on our behalf. No, I've heard stories and stuff, but on our behalf, I've never seen him resort to violence. I've seen him sit down and have an educated conversation with lawyers and record companies.
Okay.
Maybe a little heated at times, but they were, they came across as how they're supposed to.
Okay, because I remember the first time that I heard Jodeci affiliated with Death Row was Devontae did a song on Tupac's All Eyes on Me.
Right.
Was that the beginning, or were you guys already messing with each other at that point?
We did the first song we did with them was Murder's the Case.
Aha.
We did Come Up to My Room with the Dog Pound.
Right.
That was
okay.
that was the first record that we did with them.
Okay.
Then we just started doing like production stuff around with certain artists at the studio.
Right.
And then Pac came around after that. Later on after that.
Okay, right. And then Casey and JoJo did Toss It Up.
Toss It Up, yeah.
One of Pac's best songs.
Mm-hmm.
So how well did you know Tupac, and how much work did you guys do together?
I got to know him very well. We had a couple of in-depth conversations. I mean, I got to know him very well. Because he bought How Do You Want It? He bought the idea to me first, and he was like, I want to put Jodeci on this record because he was singing the hook actually at first.
Oh, Tupac did the Toss It Up hook?
No, he was How Do You Want It?
Oh, How Do You Want It?
How do you want it? He was saying that deep baritone. How do you want it? How do you? And he said, I don't like my voice in that. I was like, it sounded good because it sounded really eerie.
Huh.
And it was a whole different vibe, but it sounded eerie. He said, man, I just want y'all to do something to it. So that's when I called K and Joe. I was like, hey man, Tupac want to do this record, and so we got to the studio. And if you listen to the record real close, I kept his voice in there. He told me to take it out, but his voice is the bottom voice in there.
Oh, so Tupac is actually underlying on the chorus.
Yeah, and How Do You Want It? Yeah,
that's so crazy.
And I mixed him in with the harmony, but it worked because I knew the vision he was going with the song, and he just we put the harmony over it and made it sound big. And the verse he had originally, he went back and did it over. He said, y'all crushed me on that. I'm gonna do my verses. But I wish I told somebody to release all the verses that he didn't put out because he would go back and if he felt like you outshine on the song, he would go back and rewrite his verse. But yeah, his verses were so dope on all the material he had, but he would go back and rewrite it real quick. So,
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked to various people about Tupac's work ethic, and they said that he had this feeling that he needed to hurry up and get as much music out as possible because he didn't think he was going to be around for that long.
He would write like that. I mean, verses would just come like that.
So you
I witnessed that for myself, yeah.
So you were there producing with him, and he's just
like that. I mean,
yeah. And I heard he would get mad at producers that weren't quick enough.
He would get. I saw him get aggravated when it was things that he didn't know about, like the production side of it. Like if he didn't understand something in the studio and he saw that you were a little frustrated because someone near a piece of equipment, he would get angry. But he was just really passionate about what he did.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys have more songs I heard that you guys did together that never came out?
No, I didn't do any more. I just worked on How Do You Want It with him and just other stuff around Death Row. But just Tupac is the only one I really worked hand in hand with.
Okay. You guys had an interesting situation because you guys came up with Puffy.
Right.
And then now you guys are rolling with Death Row. And the East Coast, West Coast beef breaks out.
Right.
And you guys are cool with both sides.
Right.
So what happened with you guys in the middle of all this?
Well, Puff got upset. I remember when the whole thing that people don't really know, it's really stupid why this whole thing happened, which I'm not going to get into, but it's really stupid. The whole thing was really stupid, could have been avoided. And at the time it was brewing, I was like, man, come on, this is really retarded. And it started pulling people in. At first, it was two individuals, and it was over something really stupid.
Suge and Puffy.
Well, it was two people, but it could have been avoided. It started off as a joke, and then it got escalated. And I remember, and I was cool with Suge and Puff.
Right.
That's why I didn't want it to see it like that because it didn't have to be like that. And when one Puff called me, he's like, man, what side you on? I said, man, I'm from the South, Puff. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm saying? I'm from the South. I'm from the South. So it's like, and I think he thought that I betrayed him, but I didn't. For me, I didn't have anything to do with none of it. I wasn't riding with Suge. I wasn't riding with that. It was just both of y'all my friends, and it's like I don't have any problems with anybody, and that's the position that Jodeci took as a group, because it was cool with Suge and was cool with with Puff and Big and everybody. So
right. Well, I guess Jodeci's sort of showing up. Wait, Well, no, I guess that wasn't a Biggie diss. I guess.
I'm talking about the Source Award.
Well, yeah, you guys were at the Source Awards.
Yeah, we presented Biggie with the award though.
You guys presented Biggie with the award. Were you on stage with Suge when he said?
No, we wasn't on stage with Suge. We wasn't on stage, and I was like, when he said that, I was like, oh man.
Right. Oh, but so you sat there and he said, if y'all get tired, motherfuckers,
yes,
open your videos.
Come to death row.
Come to death row.
Yeah.
And then everyone booed.
Yeah, it was like, oh man.
And then Snoop came and said, y'all don't got love for
y'all
Snoop
got love
Dogg,
for the West.
And then the booing kept going.
And that was it. I mean, we left and it was just chaos, and I was like, man, this is about to get ugly. Because it could have been avoided. It could have really been avoided, and it was like one of those situations like, why? But then you think like later in the years, it was like maybe it was inevitable for this to happen.
Yo, YouTube, what up? It's your homie Gab. I'm in the building, and this is Machiavelli Media. I'm going to keep this video short and sweet. Today, I chose to review an older interview that DJ VLAD did with Mr. Dalvin from Jodeci, because I often always wondered, how did Jodeci feel being caught in the middle? And I asked guests when I interview them, and I hear my homie Art interview people, how does it feel being caught in the middle of the East Coast versus West Coast beef, AKA Death Row versus Bad Boy? And nobody really answers it honestly. And they hear Mr. Dalvin say, yeah. Basically, Puffy was mad at them. And I just thought that was really honest, because we know when Jodeci first signed the Uptown Records and Andre Harrell, that Puff Daddy was damn near the choreographer. He was their stylist. He was, he basically came up with I'm not going to say their image, but he kind of gave them a lane. You know what I mean? Visually. And he kind of put his neck out there on the line, basically saying that I believe these guys are going to blow to the point where if they don't make it, then the hell with me over here at Uptown Records. You can hear that just from the interview with, Mr. Dalvin saying that Andre Harrell told Puffy, yo, if this group don't blow, that's your ass, Mr. Postman. From Friday. That's your ass, Mr. Postman. But Puffy to me seems like a guy that could be very vindictive. A guy that can, hold a grudge. Puffy comes off like a very emotional person. So seeing this group that he basically risked his career over, become successful, and then leave Uptown Records and start being managed by Suge Knight and Death Row, I know Puff Daddy felt the type of way about that. I'm not saying it was right of him or wrong of him, but I know he felt the type of way, watching a group that he basically helped groom start rocking with the competition and basically his enemies. And I take it a step further. In my opinion, after the fall of Death Row, it was basically also the fall of Jodeci. The group split up. Casey and JoJo started, doing their own thing. Dalvin did a solo career. And, Devontae basically disappeared. They say they stayed tight behind the scenes, but, to the optic, it was no more Jodeci. And I just kind of felt like Puffy probably blackballed them dudes. And I think he probably tried to hurt them at that point. Because like I said, Puffy was very upset. And, he watched them work with Pac. He watched them run around with Suge, at the height of this East Coast, West Coast beef. And when Puffy got on top, he made sure he didn't work with Jodeci no more. It didn't work with Casey and JoJo. And I don't know what kind of relationship he got with them guys now, but one can only imagine. Puffy definitely held the grudge because Jodeci started fucking with Death Row. In a nutshell. Well, anyway, I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to sub to the channel. This is Machiavelli Media. Give me a big thumbs up and turn on them post notifications so you'll be the first ones to get it when I drop that shit. It's been a pleasure as always. I'm your homie Gab. I'm signing off. I'm about to hit y'all with the peace.